This is FYI News 13, brought to you by SSPTV and the Hazleton Standard Speaker.
For your information, Luzerne County's district attorney has some important information to share. Hear what she has to say about the county's fight against drugs next. It's Friday Eve. We are almost there. I hope you had a great day and thank you for joining us. I'm Ken Kara and it's time for local information from FYI and the Hazleton Standard Speaker. Luzerne County's district attorney has taken over the helm of the Luzerne County Drug Task Force. The DA spoke about this latest news at this morning's red carpet breakfast sponsored by the Greater Hazleton Chamber of Commerce. She also stopped by our studio to do an interview with our Lisa Sugart.
I'm pleased to welcome Luzerne County District Attorney Stephanie Salavantis to our studios today. DA Salavantis, I know there's great news today in the fact that you and Luzerne County have taken over the Luzerne County Drug Task Force. It was previously in the hands of the Attorney General's office. So what does this mean for your battle on drugs and for the area itself?
Well, I have been working closely with law enforcement to try to get control over this task force for approximately 2 years now. And that's why it's amazing news to find out that we finally have this task force and a signed MOU from the Attorney General's office. And why this is so important and why I have put so much emphasis and work into getting the task force is because this means that we will have more resources to put into our streets and into fighting the crime that is committed on our streets, especially with regard to drugs. And we're seeing a lot of major drugs coming into our area, causing a lot of deaths. And I want to put more emphasis on these crimes and stop the demand here in Luzerne County.
And I understand too that if you do any seizures or what, before you had to share it between the state and the county.
Correct.
So this means now more resources staying here in the county?
Yes, before when the Attorney General's office ran it, they would get 50% of the seizures. So what that means is we go into a house, we find that there is $1,000 there to purchase drugs. We forfeit and seize that money. $500 would go to the Attorney General's office and $500 would come back to Luzerne County to use to put back into the work being done on the streets. Now, instead of $500 going to the state, it will now 100% of the forfeitures, all of that will come to Luzerne County. So we will have more overtime expenses being paid for, equipment, training, anything that we need to fight this drug battle.
And this comes at a time when you just issued a warning for law enforcement and local emergency responders about a very scary and dangerous drug.
Correct. It's called carfentanil. I'm sure people have caught wind of fentanyl and how fentanyl itself has created a lot of issues in Luzerne County, throughout the state, and throughout the nation. It is a very dangerous, very potent drug that is laced with heroin, or it is being provided in the place of heroin. So it's causing a lot of fatal overdoses. Well, carfentanil is even more potent than fentanyl. And it is really not for human consumption. So when individuals are using heroin, addicts are using heroin, they think that it is just pure heroin, but it's laced with this very dangerous drug. And why this drug is so dangerous is that it could be absorbed through the skin. So if first responders go to the scene or law enforcement and they touch an individual, they touch paraphernalia, they can then absorb that drug in their skin and into their system, and they can overdose and die.
Wow, some very scary things happening right now. Well, please come back and update us on how progress goes now that you have the task force in the county's hands.
I will. I expect to do a lot of work throughout Luzerne County and take a lot of these drugs off our streets.
All right, very good. Luzerne County District Attorney Stephanie Salavantis.
Thank you, Lisa. Digging into your pocket for change for the parking meter in Hazleton will no longer be a problem. Speaking is a problem for me. Today, the city of Hazleton unveiled the Pango parking payment system that utilizes an app to conveniently pay for parking and extend your parking time for from your mobile device. The idea was originally proposed by former Hazleton Mayor Joe Yannuzzi. Today, Yannuzzi joined current Mayor Jeff Cassat, local officials, and representatives from Pango for the announcement.
The number one thing is you don't have to have a smartphone in order to use our app or our system or the city system now in Hazleton. you can simply dial the 1-877 My Pango phone number from any phone, even from your house phone, if that's what you want to do, and pay for your parking that way. And in the coming future, you're going to also be able to buy your permits for Hazleton parking lots on our website. So you don't have to come to City Hall anymore. You can simply go to the website and find the lot you want and buy your permit for that lot.
The signs and the stickers on the meters will start here in the north side parking lot with the corresponding zone number, and users that are going to be using parking today can actually start using Pango today in this lot. And one of the great options of Pango is 7 minutes before your time expires, it will send you a text message, so then you could add more time and only the amount of time you think you need. So you could add it in 15-minute increments instead of adding another hour, and then you're paying more. Instead of paying more, you would be able to just pay for what you need.
I think it's a great deal for downtown. I think the businesses will benefit from it, and the citizens of Hazleton will benefit from it. Going downtown, be able to use your phone to pay for your meter and be alerted if your time is running out. That's fantastic. That gives you an ease of coming downtown and not to be worried about the meter maid.
The Pango parking system adds a convenience fee of 35 cents for the parking meter or parking lot. The city then charges 25 cents for every 15 minutes. While many cities have chosen to use the app solely, Hazleton will allow you to use Pango or pay the old-fashioned way with coins. To use Pango, call the toll-free number 1-877-MY-PANGO to register, or download the app for your smartphone. A credit card and motor vehicle license number is needed to sign up. Other cities using the parking app system include Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, Harrisburg, and Philadelphia. Hazleton police responded to reports of gunshots last night. City police, along with units from other local departments, responded to the 400 block of East Diamond Avenue around 10 p.m. for a report of 4 or 5 people shooting at a home. These are photos taken by our media partner, the Standard Speaker. Less than an hour later, police received reports of gunfire in the area of South Church, South Vine, South Laurel, and West Chapel Streets. Units from Butler Township, Sugarloaf Township, and other local departments assisted in the investigation. Hazleton police are actively searching for a man they describe as a wanted felon. Police say that there is still an active warrant for 21-year-old Pedro Crespo, whose last known address was 55 West Broad Street in Hazleton. The warrant is in connection with felony drug charges from September of 2015. Anyone with information on his whereabouts is urged to call Hazleton police at 570-459-4940. All calls will be kept confidential. Another fundraiser will take place tomorrow night to benefit the Hazleton Police Department. We Are Hazleton will host a bike night tomorrow night from 6 to 9 p.m. at Smoke Rings in Hazleton. Tickets are $25, and that includes hamburgers and hot dogs from 6 until 9 p.m. and beer and wine from 6 p.m. till 7 p.m. There will be drink specials and cigar specials all night, plus entertainment by Ostrich Hat, along with raffles and door prizes. Tickets will be available at the door tomorrow night. Smoke Rings is located at 1008 North Vine Street in Hazleton. Proceeds benefit the purchase of a new canine officer for the Hazleton Police Department. Coming up on FYI, we finish up our 2016 football previews with the Tamaqua Area Blue Raiders. After this break, we have another interesting local history segment for you featuring Charles McElwee from the Greater Hazleton Historical Society and Museum.
This is FYI News 13, brought to you by SSPTV and the Hazleton Standard Speaker.
Charles McElwee is back with us again. He is a member of the Board of Directors for the Greater Hazleton Historical Society and Museum, and always talking about great buildings in our community and the history of our community. And one building we all drive by from one point or another throughout the Hazleton area here is we pass the Duplin building on Diamond Avenue. That's a huge building with a very big history behind it as well.
Right, you can't miss it. It's this massive structure just standing in the middle of downtown Hazleton. That was once the world's largest silk mill, and it dates back to 1898 when Jean Duplin, who was a French silk magnate, at that time Congress imposed a tariff on foreign silk. So it became necessary for him to build silk mills in the United States. So when he was looking for areas to build, he targeted Hazleton, And for a fundraising campaign, it resulted in its construction. At the time, the location of the silk mill was not a desirable place. It was ridden with various issues from main mine cave-ins to squalor, an open sewer running through the property. But the city lobbied him to come here, and he ended up building the 600,000 square foot facility that really was a major employer in the region up until its closure in the early 50s.
Now, there are still businesses located in that structure to this day, and you would like to see it, I guess, restored or rejuvenated.
Right, so you have a few businesses in the building right now, like, for example, Sergeant Art. But the trend in cities right now is to rehab silk mills in some of these old industrial cities. For example, Manchester, New Hampshire is currently undergoing a project there. But to think that you had the world's largest silk mill in Hazleton, the potential for development there is infinite. The reason they are so favorable for development is because, unlike steel mills, which you'll see in the Lehigh Valley are being developed, they're clean. They're not an environmental hazard. The transition from the state as they are to becoming a loft apartment or businesses for entrepreneurs, retail space is rather easy. So you see this trend, for example, in Allentown as well. This silk mill that was located outside of downtown is being converted into 275 apartments, 250,000 square feet. So I think, just with the momentum we have right now with that Church Street Historic District project, which is within walking distance of the silk mill, the opportunity for growth is there.
Wow, so stay tuned for that. You're hoping that maybe someone will take notice.
Hopefully, yes. Come to our next walking tour.
All right. And as Charles has been saying, they do plan more walking tours. Our recent one was such a great success throughout the Diamond Avenue area there. So he will be back regularly to talk with us about that, and you'll have more details as soon as they become available.
Absolutely.
All right. Charles McElwee from the Greater Hazleton Historical Society Museum. Check them out on Facebook to see what they're up to.
Time now for FYI News 13 weather.
Here's a look at our super friends, the Standard Speaker. We're like Batman and they're like Superman, or maybe we're Wonder Woman and they're the Green Lantern. I'll figure it out later. Right now, here's our local forecast from the National Weather Service. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low around 69 degrees, southwest wind around 7 miles per hour. Friday looks pretty good, mostly sunny with a high near 83 during the day, and then at night for Football Friday, week 1 in high school football, mostly clear with a low of 63 degrees. On Saturday, sunny with a high in the lower 80s. On Saturday night, it will be mostly clear with a low of 63 degrees. Sunday also looks great, sunny with a high near 81, and then Sunday night, partly cloudy, low of 65. As we kick off a new work week, we'll have a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mostly sunny with a high of 82, and then Monday night, partly cloudy, low of 66 degrees.
Tonight's weather is brought to you by Valley High, the area's oldest ice cream and fast food restaurant. Stop on in for a cold treat including our ice cream and yogurt, or some hot food including our burgers, hot dogs, fries, and much more. That's Valley High, Route 93 in West Hazleton. Treat yourself today.
If you hit some of these numbers, you can treat yourself to a lot of Valley High. Here's pick 2 from the midday. Your midday winning Pennsylvania lottery numbers: pick 205, pick 3 156, pick 4 5743, and pick 5 03727. We're going to another Law Talk segment, then we'll hit a break, and when we come back, we'll finish up our 2016 football previews with Tamaqua area.
We received a viewer question, and the viewer asks, who handles the estate if there is no will?
Very legitimate question. It happens quite frequently. A lot of people that we see, they be middle-aged or even kind of like myself, heading into the senior category, and they don't have a will. And of course, we can't predict when we're going to die, so it's not unlikely for someone to die without a will. Well, what happens if you have property and that property's in your name, and you haven't set forth in a will who you want to get that property? What happens to that property? How is it, in the eyes of the law, administered? Well, it's administered under the Pennsylvania Fiduciary and Estate Code. It's called intestate. Intestate means that you don't have a will. And the code also provides that someone, a family member, spouse, brother, sister, cousin, someone has to be appointed by the court to transition that property to where it belongs once you pass away. And that can only be done by what we call a citation. And that citation has to be brought to the Register of Wills. The person seeking to administer the estate has to ask the Register of Wills to appoint them as the administrator of the estate. And they have to give notice of that meeting with the Register of Wills to other relatives, creditors, who may have a right under the fiduciary code to be administer the estate. More often than not, it's a relative. More often than not, nobody objects. But that is a step that is necessary when there is no will designating an executor. If there's an executor named in a will, it's much easier. You take the will up, take the named executor, you get sworn in, and you start administering the estate from there. Without a will, you have to go through the citation process to have someone appointed. But effectively, once that's done, it's no different than having an executor in a will.
This is FYI News 13 Sports.
So we've had a summer blockbuster theme with most of our football previews this year. For the most part, we've parodied popular movies, but tonight we have an SSPTV original. Well, it's kind of original. Is there really any original thought anymore? There's actually a character in the Batman comics called Spoiler, but that's also what I'm calling the 2016 Tamaqua area Blue Raiders. The final 2015 FYI coal scale rankings were all but etched in stone. Or even better yet, they were all but etched in coal, when out of the coal region came the spoilers. Tamaqua really screwed this up in our rankings, and I'm sure they couldn't be happier about it. They finished the season at 500 by beating their big rival and our #1 team from last week, Marion Catholic. Senior Colin Bud Moyer carried the ball 35 times in his swan song. Moyer danced to 142 yards and 3 touchdowns.
We had a lot of ups and downs. I thought we finished the season strong. I had a big win at the end of the season against Marion. It put us at 5-5. We avoided having a losing season. We got a lot of good kids back, and obviously we lost Bud Moyer, who was like a workhorse for us last year, but we got a nice core of kids coming back.
This season, Tamaqua will compete in Division I of the new Schuylkill League. There's some tough competition there, and in the preseason media poll, the Blue Raiders were picked to finish last. So to get back to the playoffs, they'll just have to once again play the role of spoilers. Even without Bud Moyer, who ran for over 1,000 yards and scored over 20 touchdowns last season, according to Max Preps, the Blue Raiders are confident on offense.
A lot of our skilled kids back, we're looking to spread the ball around. We have about 5 or 6 athletes that I can feel can cause, make big plays for us. Up front, we're going to have to gel, and we're going to have to gel early.
I think that our skill position players coming back definitely gets me real excited because we have a lot of good athletes and playmakers that should be able to put up some points this year.
Senior Eddie Titus says he expects the defense to make some big plays this season now that everyone is healthy after they suffered a number of injuries on that side of the ball in 2015. Spoiler alert, his coach seems to agree.
Again, we have about 6 returning starters. Secondary, which was pretty solid. We lost a tough inside linebacker with Bud Moore, another guy that led the team in tackles. Up front, Chance Sable at nose guard. Matty Weaver and Eddie Titus are both defensive ends and outside linebackers. I think we should be pretty solid up front.
Tamaqua meets league favorite Blue Mountain in Week 5, and if all goes according to plan, the spoilers should be hitting on all cylinders by then.
I think a big thing is for our older guys that are coming back to obviously help the young guys early on in the season, and hopefully those young guys really come around by about Week 4, Week 5, and cause some noise near the end of the season.
Tamaqua spoiled the final scheduled coal scale on FYI in 2015. Can they take that momentum into 2016? That part of the story hasn't been written yet and thus can't be spoiled, but we'll bring it up again in October. Fall season tickets are now available at the Tamaqua High School office. Football season tickets are $20 for adults and $8 for students. They also offer family packages for all athletic events throughout the year. Plus, they have a senior citizens gold card. We have all the information up on our Facebook page, or you can check out the school district's website. Click on their athletic page. You can purchase tickets at the school from 7:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday. The high school football season kicks off tomorrow. The golf season is in full swing. Here's the FYI Standard Speakers scoreboard. Marion and North Schuylkill both got wins in the Schuylkill League. MMI, they had 3 golfers score 43s in their win over Berwick: George Palermo, Eric Dagenhart, and Morgan Long. The Rail Riders opened up their 2-game series at Syracuse with a win. And the sun rises, the sun sets, and the Cubs win. That's life. And that's the end of the Sportscast. FYI Social Report is right after this message from Bottlenecks. It's Thursday. Go crazy. It's boneless wing night at Bottlenecks. 50 cents a wing. You can add a small order of fries for only $1.50.
FYI News 13 would like to send sincere condolences to the family and friends of these recently departed. Mary Ann DeFant of Cunningham. A private mass will be held at St. John Bosco Church. Entombment will take place at the Garden Mausoleum in the Calvary Cemetery. Arlene M. Folk and Mary Ann Fedoric, both of Hazleton. The Philip J. Jeffries Funeral Home is in charge of arrangements. A graveside service will be held at 10 a.m. on Friday at St. Patrick's Roman Catholic Church. Leanne Bird, formerly of Hazleton. Burial will take place at the Calvary Cemetery. Margaret Paulshock, formerly of Nuremberg. Funeral will be held Friday at 10:30 a.m. with a massive Christian burial at Sacred Heart Roman Catholic Church. Friends may call the church Friday at 9:30 a.m. until the time of the Mass. Helen M. Adamczyk of Hazel Township. A memorial will be held Saturday at 11 a.m. at Our Lady of the Immaculate Conception Parish. Burial will take place at the Calvary Cemetery. The McNulty Funeral Home is in charge of arrangements. John Kaler of Weatherly. The Philip J. Jeffries Funeral Home is in charge of arrangements. Visitations will be on Sunday from 2 to 4 p.m. and 6 to 8 p.m. A celebration of life will be held Monday at 10 a.m. at the First Presbyterian Church and Robert L. Brocious of Weston. Services will be private under the direction of the Harmon Funeral Home. Attention pay-per-view subscribers. If you see your name now on Channel 13, you'll have 13 minutes to call in and win a free movie from Service Electric Cablevision. Tonight's winner is James Tanner of Shepton. James, give us a call, 570-455-7267, extension 104.
Highlights of this newscast: Charles McElwee and his hair. That kid is sharp. And I got to mention Batman twice. Highlights of tomorrow's newscast: clam bake in Freeland. It will be a good time. We'll have a preview. We'll see you then. Take it easy, everyone.